Welcome into another video. This time we're going over the 2024 NFL playoffs, and it's going to be a doozy. I have who I think is going to win the Super Bowl. I'm going to kind of talk you through what I think and my thoughts. And then let's see, leave it down in the comments below. Do you guys agree with me? And what do you guys believe is going to be the Super Bowl winner? Post it down below in the comments. I would like to see who you guys think will win the Super Bowl in 2024. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start getting through these games. Let's start with the NFC first, and we'll work over with the AFC. Starting in the NFC, we have the number 4 Bucks taking on the number 5 Eagles. Now, the Eagles did beat the Buccaneers way back in week 3, 25-11. Don't know how much really you can put into that because the team kind of developed over the year to kind of identify who they really were. But as of right now, we do have confidence, even though the Eagles are kind of limping in here. You know, they've lost 5 of the last 6 games. Just their confidence is really hobbled right now. I know Devonta Smith does have an ankle injury. We'll see how that comes to play. I do think he's going to end up playing though. But overall, the Buccaneers, you know, they have Baker Mayfield and the Mike Evans combo going on, which is doing very well. They should be able to really put up some points against this Eagles secondary, who hasn't really proven that they can be elite, you know, losing to the 49ers and the Cowboys as well already in pretty good fashion. Do you know what I mean? So, but if I'm looking at this matchup in whole, looking at the Buccaneers, look at the Eagles, I just think the Eagles have too much experience and too much riding on the line to give it up to the Buccaneers, who were almost kind of limped in to the playoffs themselves, and gaining that NFC South division title right at the end, beating Carolina. But I think overall, I think that the Eagles will eventually take over the Buccaneers and advance to the next round. So let's go over to the next matchup here. We're going to talk about the Lions that is going to be taking on the Rams. So the number 3 Lions taking on the number 6 Rams. Now, Matthew Stafford comes back to Detroit. We'll see if this is going to be something to where it's kind of noteworthy, but I think Matthew Stafford's really going to want to show out for the Detroit Lions, you know, because the Lions did let him go to try to seek to get a Super Bowl championship with the Rams, and now all of a sudden the Lions are finally back into the playoffs, hosting a playoff game, and now here comes Matthew Stafford to town. It's almost like a fairy tale type of scenario here, which there's a lot of these scenarios that we'll go over today into this video. But, you know, Goff is also playing against his old team and his old head coach that gave them away to get Matthew Stafford because they thought that Goff really couldn't get him to that promised land like they wanted to consistently. That's why they got Matthew Stafford in here. So I think the Lions going against the Rams, I just think the Rams have too much experience. Matthew Stafford, he wants to retire soon. I think he wants to try to go out as on top as possible, which I don't think he's going to make it through this year. But I think they end up upsetting the Lions in the first round of the playoffs. Let's go ahead and go over the last game that's going to be in this wild card round. We're talking about the number 2 Cowboys taking on the number 7 Packers, and yet again another revenge game. We're talking about Mike McCarthy this time. Is this a revenge game for him? I mean, you know, he wants to be able to beat the Packers. He's already played against them once, and he ended up losing. So is this the time he does get his revenge against the Green Bay Packers? I think the Cowboys right now are really churning on all cylinders. CeeDee Lamb, you know, he's really proven that he is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You know, Dak Prescott should be able to put plenty of points up against this Packers defense. Jordan Love, will the inexperience really come to haunt him? I think Christian Watson will probably be there. Jaden Reed really develop into that number 1 guy right there. I like Tucker Kraft at the tight end spot as well. But I think it's just not going to be good enough against the Cowboys defense. I think the Cowboys are going to come out and just destroy Jordan Love. I think the Cowboys easily win in the first round of these playoffs. So let's go ahead and look at the scenarios here as we kind of see all of these teams move up and see where these matchups are going to be heading. Let's talk about this next round of the NFC playoffs. So first round we're going to have here in this next round will be the number 1 overall 49ers taking on the number 6 Rams in this scenario, and I don't think this is any contest. I think the San Francisco 49ers are able to be coming here with Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and all the plethora of options that they have. And we talk about this defense with Bosa, with Young. They're just going to be able to get after the quarterback. I don't think the Rams have any shot of beating the 49ers here in this, and the 49ers should easily advance in the playoffs. Talk about the next matchup here. We got the number 2 Cowboys taking on the number 5 Philadelphia Eagles, and I think this is the time that the Eagles, they just are going to fall short against the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are just too good as far as their defense goes, and their offense should be able to just absolutely put up a ton of points against the Eagles. They already showed earlier on in the season that they could dominate the Eagles, and I think they do it once again here in the playoffs to advance to the NFC Championship game. So let's go ahead and look at here right now at the playoff scenario as I see fit. We are definitely looking at the 49ers taking on the Cowboys. Cowboys for the NFC Championship. So let's talk about this a little bit. These are two very good defenses that are matching up here. I just think it's going to be a lot of firepower going around. A lot of defenses. Which offense is going to be able to provide the most opportunities? And I think that's going to be Brock Purdy. He's going to come through. He's shown that he might be Mr. Irrelevant on draft day way back when, but he's anything other than Mr. Irrelevant. He can prove that he can be the guy to play. I know he had a bad showing against the Ravens with all those interceptions, but I think he comes to play against the Dallas Cowboys, and I think they definitely advance to the Super Bowl. So let's go ahead and talk about now. We kind of look at this preview that I have going on right now. We see the 49ers going up there to the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the AFC right now. The first game, we're talking about the number 4 Texans taking on the number 5 Cleveland Browns. And this is the second time in 20 years that the Browns are actually into the playoffs, and Joe Flacco really has them rolling on all cylinders. Now CJ Stroud gets to go with the Texans as a rookie. He's a phenomenal rookie, putting up a lot of noise right now into the NFL, but now they're not going to have Tank Dell for this playoffs series. Does that affect him? Is Nico Collins able to carry the load there? But the Browns defense is a stud defense. I think they're going to struggle against this defense, and I think even though CJ Stroud should be able to do his best possible to keep the Texans in this matchup, I just don't think they have enough firepower to keep up with Joe Flacco and the Browns. They're completely running on all the cylinders, and I think they easily beat the Texans in the first round. All right, let's go ahead and go over to the next matchup here. The number 3 Chiefs taking on the number 6 Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill's going to have his chance to really have that revenge game. I think the Chiefs, they won earlier when they played in Germany, 21-14. This now will be in Kansas City, and Tyreek Hill finally gets to go in there against those old fans and really stick it to them to kind of really stab that hatchet right into the back. And I think the Miami Dolphins definitely upsets the Kansas City Chiefs. These are not the Kansas City Chiefs that we're used to. The Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce combo isn't that high-powered combo that we're used to seeing. I think just the lack of offensive weapons in total is really playing a toll on Patrick Mahomes. And I think as long as Jalen Waddle comes back healthy, they're very optimistic that he will play. And then you got Tyreek Hill on the outside as well. You got the rookies A-Chain and they got Raheem Mostert doing their thing too, and talking about really spreading the ball all over the field. I like what I'm seeing from the Dolphins, and I do think that they go ahead and come in here and upset the Chiefs for this round. So let's take on the other matchup here. That we got the number 2 Bills taking on the number 7 Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think the Steelers should be in the playoffs. They're not a very good team. I don't know who's going to be the quarterback, whether it's Mason Rudolph or Pickett or Trubisky. Who knows who's going to be the quarterback? But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. They're going to the Bills, who are 7-1 this year at home, and they're going to go at sub-freezing temperature with a possible chance of snow. I just think there's no chance the Steelers goes up there and able to beat a Bills team that overall is struggling, but going on a win streak. They were able to beat the Miami Dolphins last week, even though they didn't have all their studs out there. But I think the Bills have a little bit of confidence coming into the playoffs. I think that just gets them enough to go ahead and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in this first round. So let me go ahead and throw up what I have as of right now as far as the playoff scenarios go right here. And let's go ahead and dive into these next set of games. We have the number 1 Ravens taking on the number 6 Miami Dolphins. And I just have to say, there's no way right now. The Ravens are really running on all cylinders. In signing with Dalvin Cook, they're just going to be completely dominant. Just hard to see a team beating them in this playoffs. The Ravens and Lamar Jackson is playing out of his freaking mind right now. I just don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to keep up with them. The Ravens should be able to hold Tyreek Hill into check. I think it's going to be an easy win for the Ravens. I think they're going to dominate their way all the way through to the AFC Championship game. Let's talk about the next game right here. We're talking about the Browns. We're talking about the Bills. This is another one of these upsets where I think that Joe Flacco keeps the Browns rolling, even though, yes, it will be in Buffalo where they are very good. I think just overall, the Bills aren't playing what we're used to seeing them play, and I think the Browns come here and take advantage of that, and Joe Flacco gets to the AFC Championship game against his Ravens. So let me go ahead and put up here right now as far as the scenario that I have going up right here, where I have the number 1 Ravens taking on the number 5 Browns. Let's talk about this for a little bit. So we think Joe Flacco getting his revenge game a little bit here. My whole scenario here is filled with these quote-unquote revenge games, and I'm loving this narrative if this is the way that it shapes out. But I do think that the Ravens have too much firepower there for the Browns to compete. Yes, the Browns have a very good defense, but I don't think they have an answer for Lamar Jackson. And at this point, Mark Andrews even could be back as well, with Isaiah Likely, Flowers, Odell Beckham. They've got a lot of weapons on the outside, and I think that the Ravens defense overall should be able to shut down Joe Flacco. Finally, he gets his fairy tale season cut a little bit short, but I think the Ravens advance to the Super Bowl. Let's go ahead and put up the graphic real quick here as we see the 49ers, the number 1 49ers taking on the number 1 Ravens. Overall, I really like if this is what it's going to come out to be as far as the obvious championship game in my eyes. I think it's going to be easily 49ers, and it's going to be easily the Ravens. I think they're going to go back and forth. I think overall this is going to be an absolute amazing banger of a game. Two solid defenses. Look, I didn't even have my lights on. Look at this. Can you guys see me a little bit better now? Sorry, early on in the video, I guess I forgot to turn on that light, but you guys can see me now. But I think it's going to be a very good banger of a game. I think it's going to be a back and forth type of a matchup, and I think at the end of the day, the big signing that's going to make the difference is Dalvin Cook at the running back spot. I think the Ravens really got under Brock Purdy's skin. It's going to be a lot in his brain. I don't think Brock Purdy's going to do as bad as he did before with all the interceptions, but I think it's just going to be a little bit too much, and I think those Ravens are really going to come to play enough to end up winning the championship. So if you see this graphic right here, I have the Baltimore Ravens winning against the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. And I tell you guys, that is pretty much my predictions for the entire playoffs. I hope this is how it plays out. I think it'd be great for storylines all across the NFL. So as always, I do appreciate you guys watching the video. I'm putting out videos each and every week, multiple videos each and every week. We're going to be talking about rookies, we're talking about rankings, we're talking about dynasty, talking about superflex. We're talking about a lot of good things here. Hit the subscribe button so you guys never miss a video. Now that the Super Bowl is going to be over very soon, we're moving into the 2024 season, and I can't wait to give out so much information of all the things that I'm learning to prepare us for. I guess this is going to be the NFL draft coming up soon, so we can really target some sleepers, some breakout candidates, and etc. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment down below. Who do you guys think is going to be the Super Bowl winner? Can't wait to see you guys. We'll see you in the next video. We'll see you guys next time.